to the front of the master cylinder here. Brake pump to master cylinder. I don't know if you got the beginning of this. These are the new hoses. These are your old hoses. 20-some years have taken their toll, and they tend to just burst for no reason. 2,500 psi runs through these hoses, so it's not a surprise. Alright, to get started, first we're going to depressurize the brake system. With the key off, we're going to depress the brake pedal. So you feel the brake pedal change. It'll take about 20-25 pumps. And you'll notice a distinctive difference. It'll start going down to the floor, and then it'll start getting hard again. Okay, I'm already past it, so we're good. Alright. Now, once we depressurize the brake system, we have to get a couple odds and ends out of the way. This hose. I unplugged the throttle position sensor just to make putting it back easier. Whatever you do, don't forget to plug throttle position sensor back in. Kind of important. It'll throw you a code and make you wonder what the hell you did wrong. These three on the air cleaner. Lift from the front, pull it forward a little bit, and then just work the hose off. There's also a hose, breather hose on the side here, comes off the valve cover. A little pull and she comes out too. So now that's out of our way. So now you got a better idea of where the hose is. It's this one right here. Okay? Notice it's not fastened to anything, it just kind of hangs in place. The ones I had made are a tad longer, so what I suggest is bringing them up to this one, to the return hose, and I'll supply you with a couple of zip ties to just kind of zip tie it in place. The bolts are 17 millimeters. The pump is mounted in rubber bushing, so it's difficult to really get a good squeeze on it to get it to go. So what I normally do is I put the wrench on. I grab a ratchet or a wrench. I'm going to set the camera down here for a second. You should be able to see it okay from here. Let me see. Yeah, that'll work. So you pretty much just want to shock it off. So put the wrench on and give her a few whacks, and it'll come loose. Okay, so now that it's loose, you have to be careful too. There's two copper washers. One right here, where my thumb is, and the other one is between the hose and the pump. Don't want to lose those. You're going to reuse them. Bolt comes out just far enough to sneak her by. And there goes the copper washer I told you not to lose. Take the bolt with the copper washer out, set it there. The one on the pump requires a socket. 17 millimeter, 12 point seems to work pretty well. Excuse me 1 second here. Same deal as the other bolt. It's got two washers, copper, one in front, one behind. This time they both came off. So there's the back one. I got the hoses. I can take it over someplace where it's harder to lose stuff. So here's your old hose. This one was in pretty decent shape, but I can't see putting the 25-year-old hose back on the car, so she's going to get a new one. Then when we're done, I'm going to show you how to bleed this hose, and also, so this is tough because I'm by myself, but you'll get the idea. I'm going to put a bolt with a copper washer on it through the outside. Or not. I think it's on the ground. Yep, sure is. Okay. What did we lose? The bolt and the washer. Go get my trusty magnet. I actually had another one, so I just grabbed that instead. Alright. Problem is I don't have enough hands to do this and film it at the same time, but as I said, basically you're just putting the bolt with the copper washer through, second copper washer on the back side, and then you're going to bolt it right back into place over there. So I'm going to put the camera down a second while I do that. It can only go one way, so that you can't possibly mess it up. That one gets retightened with the ratchet and the 17mm socket. Then we're basically going to do the same thing at the other end. Snake the hose under and back around here. I know this copper washer didn't come off with this one, so I want to make sure it's not on there. Okay, it's not. This little clip part goes over the return hose. That's what holds the return hose in place. So you're going to put the bolt. You're going to put the bolt with the copper washer, set copper washer here, and then you're going to tighten it with the wrench as we did before. When you get to the end, give it a couple of taps with the wrench, and she should be good to go. So, there we are again. Trying to find a spot where you can see what I'm doing, but it's not working out well. But you get the general idea. I mean, it's not rocket science. There to there. The bleeder screws are here on the pump and here on the master cylinder. Once we're all done, what we're going to do is we're going to unplug the pump motor. There's a clip on the end of it. Some of them have a little blue lock in place. But this is the harness I'm talking about. It's got a red and black wire on it. It's pretty easy to see. I'm going to disconnect that, and then we're going to turn the key on. We're going to put a hose on the end of this bleeder, an 11mm wrench on the bleeder itself, and we're going to crack it the same way we did the line, because like I said, the way the pump swivels in place, it's very difficult not to shock things out of the way. So I'm going to put that line back on and then grab the hose and the bleeder wrench, and I'll get this project underway. Then when we're finished, I'm going to show you how to remove the reservoir bottle and clean it. I know a lot of you guys have been reading about this simplified brake fluid change. Well, in my opinion, it doesn't work. The master cylinder is divided inside, so there's no possible way. The fluid going through this pressure line and the return line are stagnant in the system. They're connected to the reservoir, of course, to get fluid, but they don't mix that fluid primarily with the brake fluid. Okay, I've gotten it tight. Now I'll put the box end of the wrench on it. Sometimes it can be tough to get in there, especially with the new clip holding the return line in place, but you can squeeze them in there. If not, just use the open inside. That should be sufficiently tight. Now, as I said, the hose sits basically in the same place as the original, but I just don't like the idea of it floating around here by itself. So I'm going to say bring it up here and put a zip tie on it just to keep it in place. So I'm going to grab a zip tie, get that done, and then we'll get to the bleeding part. Okay, one zip tie. I put it down there close to the bracket because you're going to have to pull this return line off to drain the master cylinder to pop the bottle and clean it. First thing we're going to do is bleed them though. So let me quick grab the wrenches and the hose and the bottle to put the fluid in, and we'll get that done. Okay, there's going to be a part 2 to this, so just give me a moment.